What's going on, everybody? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and I'm looking to get a little bit of feedback from you guys here, because over the next couple of months, maybe late this year or early next year, I'm actually hoping to do a little bit of an upgrade on my setup here. Now, I know most people are thinking, yes, he's going to be getting an RX 2080 Ti, and he's going to be streaming beast. Unfortunately, no. Because I don't know what the actual benchmarks and all are. In fact, none of us do. Because so far as it stands, they've only published NVIDIA related benchmarks, which can't fully be trusted. So once real world benchmarks come out, as well as finished product ray traced stuff, because those benchmarks are rough as fuck, then possibly that could happen. But for the moment, for the foreseeable future, we're looking at setup upgrades elsewhere. And before we go any further, of course, I am not passing the buck to anyone else. This is all on me. No donations, no nothing, no Patreon like all those other YouTubers. None of that stuff. I'm taking care of all of this. So the purpose of this video is to ask you guys, I'm going to list off what I plan to upgrade and why. And basically, if anyone has any suggestions, anyone has any opinions on what I'm doing, other alternate products on stuff like that, let me know in the comment section below, because at the end of the day, you guys see what I put out there. Quality wise, this is essentially, mostly, partially for you. It's essentially what do you guys want to see. So as it stands for the moment, I've got my PC desk here in the corner. It's a pretty small desk. I've got my 27-inch 1440p ROG Swift on here. My speakers, keyboard, surround sound, control, my switch, microphone. Unfortunately, I can't put an arm for a microphone on here. That's a very unfortunate situation about this desk. And just to my left, I've got my PC, and then to my left of that, I've got what is essentially retro at this point, because, you know, Retro Q Gaming, a 1080p 50-inch TV. I know, 1080p TV, current year. Granted, I bought it ages ago, but still. And on that TV stand, I've got my PS4 Pro, my Analog Super NT, and my bitch-ass, basic-ass Day 1 Xbox One, because I wanted to go back and play some Halo recently. And my capture cards sit on there as well. I've got the Elgato Game Capture HD for retro stuff, and I've got the Elgato Game Capture HD 60 for the more modern stuff. But overall, what I'm looking to upgrade in this setup is I'm looking to add 2 more monitors, not in the standard triple monitor setup. I'll get into the details of them now. Possibly, probably even a new capture card and another console of some sort. So like I said, the monitor I'm using for my PC at the moment, that won't change. This will still be my standard PC monitor. 1440p, 27-inch G-Sync, 120, 144Hz monitor. I list both of them because I use 120 because I don't overclock at the 144. But I'm also looking to potentially replace all this desk, the TV stand, remove the TV completely, and get a much larger double or even triple wide desk. So that way I can put everything all close together and as needed, space stuff out too. Because as it stands at the moment, streaming PC games is fine. I have no problem with that. That's very, very easy with my setup. However, I would like to stream a bit more console games, and I'd like to do it in a way that's more comfortable. Currently, when I stream console games, I have to sit at a very awkward, weird angle. I'm not too far from a big TV, so that's kind of awkward too. And in order to be in a position where I can properly read chat and properly get the microphone to pick me up without being too awkward, I sit at a very weird, uncomfortable angle and position. As a quick aside, when I streamed Super Mario Odyssey last year, I wanted to fully, properly enjoy that game. So what I did is every time I wanted to stream Super Mario Odyssey, I actually completely rearranged my whole room. And then as soon as I was finished streaming, I rearranged it back to the way it was. And I did that 5 or 6 times, depending on how many times I streamed the game. I think it was 5 or 6. But if I had 2 additional monitors to be able to use this separately and properly, I'll tell you why 2 now in a minute. It would make it so much easier. I could properly play on a quality screen in a comfortable setup while also using all the additional PC space and screens and whatnot for stuff that would benefit me in this aspect. So first off, we'll start with the smaller model. Now, real quick before we go any further, I do have something on the way as it is at the moment in regards to retro consoles, unboxing coming soon. But I'm also looking to get a small, I say small, I'm looking about maybe a 23-inch give or take, 1080p 60Hz screen. It's not going to be some sort of crazy top of the line stuff. It's not going to be bitch made basic stuff. It's going to be somewhere just above the middle of the road. And I know everyone's thinking, wait, but Q, you don't do entry level stuff. You are Mr. Enthusiast. I realize that's usually the case for my proper setups and whatnot and proper quality stuff. But this is an extra little bit of a tidbit basically. But I'll explain what it's for now. Essentially, this 1080p 60fps screen, or 1080p 60Hz screen, you get the point, is for prior consoles and retro consoles. So when you look at things like the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, the Analog Super NT, or thanks to what I have coming very shortly, all of my old retro consoles will be properly scaled to a quality equal to about 1080p. I won't need to put them into a 1440p or 4K monitor and stretch them out even further. They would all cap out at 1080p, so it would perfectly fit this TV or this screen, this monitor. It doesn't need to be anything crazy like 75, 90, 144 Hz because it would be console stuff. It's going to cap out at 60 anyway. And to have that beside me to be able to stream comfortably here and monitor chat and all that at the same time, monitor the stream, all that good stuff, that would be very, very beneficial. And to me at least anyway, I feel like I could go forward with that. And it's the same with the other monitor I'm looking at as well. I'd also be looking to get a 4K monitor. I have my eye on one at the moment. It's not something super crazy like one of the new 4K 144Hz HDR G-Sync monitors. Although you never know, if an RTX 2080 Ti goes nuts, maybe I might actually get one of those, despite me kind of swearing off upgrading to a non-OLED monitor. But anyway, the purpose of this monitor would be a 4K monitor that's about 5 milliseconds response time. It's IPS. Despite what many people tell you, IPS is not properly superior, at least at high frame rates, but 5 milliseconds is acceptable for 60 Hz stuff. And the big thing this monitor would be for, of course, by the way, these two monitors would also be connected to the PC for additional use, but they're not the primary use for them. This 4K monitor's primary use would be for my PlayStation 4 Pro, and I'd also throw in, I'd replace my Xbox One X by getting a new one and putting it in there with this screen. So I'd have a PS4 Pro, which can offer, very, very few native 4K, but I got a couple of fake 4K games in there. And the same with the Xbox One X. You've got some native 4K games, although just less games overall on the Xbox, and a couple of fake 4K games in there. But the positive side of it would be that the majority of stuff I'd play on the Xbox One X would be native 4K, looking at all the Halo stuff really. So there'd be a big benefit to that too. Again, I could sit here comfortably, check out all the stuff, monitor the stream, play all the stuff, record, do everything perfectly. And on top of that, there's one last potential upgrade, a new capture card. The two I have at the moment are great for what they do, but I'd probably want to upgrade a little bit to the HD60 Pro, which is an internal PCIe version of the capture cards I have. It's a little bit better, it's a little bit higher quality, it has a higher bitrate, which would be really nice in that regard too. Especially because the USB ones have known to have been kind of iffy and have problems. I know personally I've had many issues with the USB ones that I have, so it would be much, much nicer to factor that out completely as well. And it's a little bit higher quality. It's got about a 33% higher bitrate. 60 MB per second instead of 40. Now I realize there is a 4K version of the capture card out there as well. Significantly more expensive. The cost usually isn't a factor for me. But what I do worry about is the use I'd get out of it. Would it be worthwhile? With so many games being fake 4K on consoles, is it really worth it? Not to mention that stuff like Xbox One X upgrades and PS4 upgrades, most of the time you're really only getting a resolution increase. You might get a one notch up on the shadows, one notch up on textures or whatever. You're still not getting top quality PC level settings. So would it be worth it in that regards? Not to mention 30 frames per second. Not to mention I wouldn't be streaming 4K games anyway because I've got a 24 meg upload, which is pretty good when it comes to say 1080p or even 1440p at 60 FPS. But the bare minimum recommended upload for even 4K 30 frames per second is just under my connection. So while I stream at 15 to 18,000 Mbps at 1080p 60 FPS, which looks and runs great, it would be a whole other story at 4K, so I don't think I'd actually go with that. I'd most likely be looking at the HD60 Pro. Internal, less problems, higher bandwidth, higher bitrate. That would probably be my better idea overall. So to give a quick recap, most likely double triple wide desk, 1080p 60 screen for retro consoles and anything before this generation, and also the Switch because there's no point in putting a Switch onto a 4K screen. A 4K monitor for PS4 Pro and an Xbox One X to also go with that screen, and an upgraded capture card. So that's the general idea. Let me know in the comments section below your thoughts, opinions, recommendations, whatever, alternate products. Anything like that in the comment section below. Let me know if you have any recommendations, what you'd prefer to see, what you might think I would be better focusing on. Let me know all that stuff in the comment section below. Remember, this requires nothing from you. There's no donations, no Patreon, no nothing. So let me know the upgrades I can get you guys to make my setup run, look, and deliver as good and high quality content as possible. Peace out everyone. I can't wait to read your recommendations and suggestions.